Hey there, and welcome back to Aiyana Wellness, forever blooming through movement and sound. Thank you for joining me today for this Balance Vinyasa Flow. As always, remember just to modify your vinyasas to avoid any pain, dropping to your knees or your forearms. And remember just to have patience with your body during this balance flow. So remember to listen to your body, honor your intuition, and let's get moving. Starting standing at the top of your mat, hands at heart center, setting an intention and engaging your Ujjayi breath. Inhaling the arms up, exhale, folding forward. Inhaling up halfway, exhaling your hands to the mat, stepping back to plank or to knees, lowering down, extending the elbows up, and lifting your hips up and back to your down dog. Reaching your chest to your thighs, maybe bending your knees, spreading your fingertips wide. Inhaling, stepping in between your hands, coming up halfway. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale to back bend. Inhaling up, exhale, folding forward. Inhaling up halfway. And exhaling your hands to the mat, stepping back to plank and going down through your vinyasa. Meeting back in our down dog, breathing deeply, reaching your heels to the mat, maybe pedaling out your feet, keeping the awareness on the breath through the nose. Inhaling, stepping in between your hands, coming up halfway. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale to back bend. Inhaling up, exhale, folding forward, hinging at the hips. Inhaling up halfway to flat back. Exhaling the hands to the mat, stepping back, going through your vinyasa. Keeping your Ujjayi breath engaged, constricting the back of the throat on the exhale. And inhaling, stepping in between your hands, coming up halfway. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale to back bend. Inhaling up, exhale, folding forward. Inhaling up halfway. Exhaling your hands to the mat. Stepping back and going through your flow. Inhaling, stepping in between your hands, coming up halfway. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling the arms up. And exhale, bending backwards. Inhaling up to stand and exhaling your hands to your hips. And begin shifting your weight slowly from your right foot to your left foot. Coming to center, feeling the points of contact in your toes and your heels. Shifting your weight back from your heels to your toes now. Finding that center of balance. Inhaling the arms up and down to heart center. Inhaling arms up and exhale, folding forward. Inhaling up halfway. Exhaling your hands to the mat and going through your vinyasa. In our downward dog, inhaling the right leg up, exhaling it in between the hands, pointing toes forward in 2 lanes, rising up the arms and torso, keeping the hips squared, relaxing the shoulders, breathing deeply. And lowering the hands down to the mat, stepping back and going through your vinyasa. And from our down dog, inhaling the left leg up, exhaling it in between the hands, and rising up the arms and torso, squaring the hips, engaging the back leg. Staying with your breath. And lowering the hands down, stepping back, going through your vinyasa. And begin walking your hands back to meet your feet, placing hands on hips as you rise your torso up to stand, bringing your weight into your right foot as you extend your left leg behind you. Maybe your big toes on the mat or a couple inches above. Inhaling the arms up, starting to hinge forward, lifting that back leg a little higher. And lowering that foot down to the mat. And bringing your weight into the left foot, extending the right leg out behind you. Maybe your toes on the mat for stability, or maybe a couple inches above. And then rising up your arms, shifting your weight forward, lifting that back leg up. And lowering that foot down to the mat. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Walking the hands to the top of your mat, going down through your vinyasa. And from our downward dog, shifting your weight from your right side to your left side, keeping the fingertips spread wide, keeping the arms engaged, and coming back to center. Stepping both feet in between the hands, coming up halfway, and exhale, folding forward. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, bending the knees, tucking the tailbone under, bringing your weight to your heels. One more deep breath. And extending the legs and folding forward. Maybe grabbing opposite elbow or behind your legs. And maybe rocking forward and backward on your toes and heels. And then inhaling up halfway to a flat back. Barely hovering your fingers over your shin. Staying with the breath. Hands coming to heart center as you bring your weight into your right foot, slowly beginning to lift the left leg up behind you, keeping the back straight for warrior 3, engaging that foot, flexing or pointing the toes, keeping the hips squared. Maybe extending the arms out in front of you. Breathing deeply and shooting that back leg to land on the mat behind you. Stepping back to go through your vinyasa. Inhaling, stepping in between your hands, coming up halfway. Exhale, folding forward. Inhaling the arms up overhead. And exhale, bending the knees, tucking the tailbone. Maybe balancing on your tippy toes in this chair pose. And lowering to the heels. Exhale, folding forward. Be folding a little deeper this time as you shift your weight from your left foot to your right foot. Swing side to side. And inhaling up halfway to that flat back position. Bringing hands to heart center as you bring your weight into the left foot, shooting the back leg up behind you. Just flexing or pointing the toe in our warrior 3, keeping the hips even. Maybe extending the arms out in front of you. And landing the right foot behind you, hands at the top of your mat, stepping back, going through your vinyasa. And walking your hands back to meet your feet, hands on hips as you rise your torso to stand. Bringing your weight into your right foot, lifting up the left leg, holding on to the left knee, finding balance, engaging the standing glute. And then with your left hand, using your 2 pointer fingers to grab onto your left big toe and extend the leg out as much as feels good to you without pulling on the toe. Trying to keep the spine straight. And then releasing that toe, keeping the leg lifted, hands on hips. Breathing. And slowly lowering that leg down. And begin bringing your right knee up, holding on to the knee with your right hand. And grabbing the right big toe with your 2 right pointer fingers, extending the leg out as much as feels good, keeping the spine straight. And then releasing the toe, keeping the leg lifted, hands on hips, staying with your breath. And slowly lowering that leg down. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. And walking your hands to the top of your mat to go down through your vinyasa. Walking your hands back to meet your feet again, hands on hips, rising your torso. Bringing hands to heart center as you bring your weight into your left leg and lifting the right foot up above or below the knee for tree pose, reaching your knee outwards, engaging the standing glute. And then bringing that leg over the thigh for a figure four and bending the standing leg for temple pose. And releasing that leg down and standing on your tippy toes. Trying to find your balance here. And lowering down, bringing hands back to heart center, tree pose on the other side. Bringing your leg above or below the knee. Bringing the knee outwards, hands at heart center. Engaging your standing glute. And then crossing the lifted leg over the thigh. Bending the standing leg. Keeping the spine straight. Breathing deeply. And slowly come to your tippy toes again. And lowering down to your heels. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Walking your hands to the top of the mat, going down through your vinyasa. Meeting back in our down dog. Reconnecting with your intention and your breath. And then coming to meet in a seated position, legs extended out in front. Reaching your right two big fingers for your right big toe. Lifting up the leg, extending it out as much as feels good, straightening the spine with the left hand. And then releasing that toe, keeping the leg lifted. And lowering the right leg down. And grabbing onto your left big toe with your two pointer fingers, extending that leg out without pulling on the toe. And releasing the toe, keeping the leg lifted. And lowering that leg to the mat. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Reaching your chin to your toes. Exhale, releasing the head down. Breathing deeply. And inhaling the arms and torso up. Crossing your legs, hands at the top of your mat. Stepping back, going through your vinyasa. And from our downward dog, meeting back in a seated position. And bringing both pointer fingers on both hands to both big toes. Keeping your legs together as you shift your weight back to your sacrum and extend your legs out in front of you as much as feels good. Balancing here. And then releasing the toes. Keeping the legs lifted in our boat pose. Balancing on the sacrum. And lowering the feet down. And opening the knees wide, grabbing to the big toes again with the pointer fingers and extending your legs outwards. Upavishta Konasana B. The weight is in the sacrum. And then releasing the big toes, arms coming to center. Playing with balance here. And then releasing the legs down, crossing the legs, hands at the top of your mat, going through your vinyasa. And lowering down onto your knees to our all fours position, shoulders over wrists. And extending the right leg out behind you and the left arm out in front of you, keeping your abs tucked in. Engaging the back foot in a point or flex. Bending the back leg and reaching backward for the foot. Kicking into the hand to open up the chest. And releasing that foot, coming back to all fours. And inhaling the left leg behind you and the right arm in front, tucking the abs in. Bending the back leg, reaching backward for the foot. Kicking into the hand to open the chest. And releasing that foot. Sitting back on your heels. Taking a deep breath and then placing both hands on the outside of your knees. Begin pushing down into the hands, lifting only the knees up off the mat. And releasing down. And we'll do it again, pushing down into the hands, lifting the knees and maybe the toes also off the mat. And releasing down. And walking the hands to the top of your mat, stepping back, going through your vinyasa. And from down dog, shifting your weight forward to plank. Placing your right hand at the center of the mat and lifting the left arm up. Coming to a side plank, Vashisthasana. You have the option to lift the leg up, off of your right leg. Pushing into the outer edge of your right foot. And maybe bringing that left leg out behind you and reaching backward with your left arm for Wild Thing. And shifting your weight back to plank. Bringing your left hand to the center of the mat, lifting the right arm up. Pushing into the outer edge of your left foot. Maybe lifting the right leg up and back for Wild Thing, reaching back with the right hand, looking at those fingers. And bringing it back to plank and going down through your vinyasa. And from our down dog, coming to a seated position, bending the legs so your feet are touching in butterfly. Folding forward, keeping your low back straight. And inhaling, rising up the torso. And coming to lie down on your back, bending your knees, feet on the mat, palm face down on the mat, inhaling the hips up for bridge pose. Maybe coming onto your tippy toes. Maybe lifting up one leg at a time. And lowering the hips down, lifting the feet up and bending the legs. So you're grabbing onto the outside of your feet. Maybe rocking side to side. And releasing the feet, hugging your knees into your chest. And lowering your knees down to the right side, looking to the left. And bringing your knees back to center. And lowering them down to the left side, looking over to the right side. Releasing the awareness of the breath. And bringing these back to center. And inhaling the feet up. Maybe lifting the hips up for supported shoulder stand, holding onto your hips. And maybe even lowering your feet down behind your head for plow, or just staying wherever you are. And slowly lowering the hips back down to the mat. Slowly lowering the legs down, opening the mat width distance, pointing the toes outwards. Opening the arms up to the side, palm face up. Receiving the work you just did. Finding stillness in your body and mind for the next few minutes. Taking a deep breath in and out, wiggling your fingers and toes, bending your arms and legs, and rolling onto your favorite side. At your own time, pushing up to a seated position with your eyes still closed, hands at heart center, expressing gratitude for your practice, for your mind and your body, remembering the intention that you set. And bowing your head, leaving your ego below your heart. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day.